Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Here's a lady accumulating memories as well. My very great pleasure to welcome to the program the Kapiti representative on the Grater Wellington Regional Council, Penny Gaylor. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, John. You sound like the ring circus master or whatever you call them. Very exciting intro there. Think of like running on the show.
I should put on my top hat and bang a drum, shouldn't I?
Whoop, whoop. Yes, I'll be the lion tamer, I guess.
Now we know. Well, actually, I imagine you've been doing a little bit of taming recently in the Greater Wellington Regional Council. And interesting to see that in the end there was only one hand that went up for chair of the Greater Wellington Regional Council. Darren Punter is the new chair.
Yes, so congratulations to him. It's a very good pick for us around the Regional Council to have Darren. He's one of these chaps who's got a great lot of integrity. He's been very willing during, for example, the bus carry-on, to front up, absolutely always fronted up and spoke up a lot at the public meetings, took on, really spearheaded taking on that role of, trying to find the solution and driving through all that stuff around our council table. He's got the mettle when you need somebody in that role to have the mettle. He's been very active with, always happy to front and talk to the media about the issues, very keen to be transparent as much as possible, very keen to kind of go, right, lots and lots of new people around the table. We're looking to have, it'll be completely new sort of leadership across our council, but also we're just kind of looking at actually what's the structure of all our committees and stuff. Yes. A real good opportunity to have a complete refresh if we feel like doing that. So that's what now happens, is we've got the chair, Darren, in place. Adrian Staples is the deputy chair, former mayor of South Wairarapa and the representative from the Wairarapa. So, of course, the Wairarapa is 75% of the landmass of the whole region. So very important to have Adrian in that role. He'll do a fantastic job.
Do you think this transport thing is fixable? I know you must have been in many, many meetings, and I still remember when I asked you some months ago whether the council would consider ditching the hub and spoke system, which has been so controversial, particularly in the central Wellington area. There was a deep intake of breath from you and a silence of about 3 seconds when you thought, what on earth am I going to say here? And, at that stage, obviously it was such a difficult political problem. But is it solvable, do you think?
It absolutely is. And if you kind of looked at the kind of, I guess, the progress that has been made, is painfully slow as it might appear publicly, there's a lot of reasons for that behind the scenes. And there actually has been a lot of progress to redress a lot of the issues that just all went wrong. And the hub stuff, the hub and spoke approach, in fact, Darren's speech, then he had pre-written just in case he got the chair, talked about actually less than fewer again hubs is his view, and certainly the view around the rest of the table from those of us who have returned. That approach was what you do in really, really big cities with lots and lots more people, tenfold type numbers. You got a population of 5 billion people in a city. I guess they thought whoever planned these things, that was the great way to go. But actually just the kind of population scale of our transport network didn't then actually match and mirror actually the implementation of it. So certainly, none of us politicians were ever particularly bound and loved up with that idea of the hub thing. It's just that it was the very best of advice, a couple of terms ago, and that set in course the direction of the network changes and approach. So, and it didn't work.
It didn't work,
and the much as well as we'd hoped.
Sure.
And because it's actually, like I say, when you're in those really big cities, it's so ingrained that that's always been the nature of your public transport network. Because say there's 5 million of us, this is just how it works. We catch a bus, we catch a train, or if you're in the London Underground, you catch that train, the Trafalgar, to meet up with the Leicester or whatever. I years since I've been on it. But you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean,
It's
yes.
ingrained in the behaviour of the users that this is how we need to use our network.
Yes.
And so us trying to introduce that, you're actually you're asking for a huge shift in people's
Absolutely.
mindset and patterns.
And that was part of the problem,
yeah.
Penny, I think. If you listen to the muttering on the buses, and I can assure you there was a lot of muttering in the buses, people were saying, what was so broken with what we had before? It worked so well, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. There was an emotional connection to the way things were as well, I think.
Yeah. So, no, and as I've said many times too, that actually the statistics bear out the fact that our public transport users still use transport services and our numbers keep going up. So here in Kapiti, fantastic, very, very good users of our services, and we've been going up ahead of our expectations right across the Kapiti here. We lead, in terms of percentages, we lead the increase, certainly on the rail network, but it's going very well on the bus network as well. That's why we need to make sure we plan to invest in more rail carriages so that we can meet the capacity demand.
Yes, indeed. What I was going to say is, if there is a revamp of what happens in Wellington, is there likely to be a consultation period about the services on the Kapiti coast? Because it's not perfect. There are suggestions that could be made.
So that was always planned. And so the review that's been happening of the southern area of the bus network that's already been undertaken and part of the consultation process there. The Kapiti coast was always planned to be reviewed post changes for next year. So it's really good to signal to people that was always planned, and it will be happening, and that will be, I guess, a bit early from next year.
Now, the other big thing that I imagine occupies the regional council's mind, more and more really, is climate change, climate response, and I believe that is part of Darren Ponta's idea as well in terms of going forward, actually having a specific committee to deal with the climate change challenge and the response there too.
Yes, and that's to reflect, when on the 21st of August, when we voted on unanimously approving to go into a declaration of climate emergency, and also that at that same meeting we set a progressive target of wanting to be carbon neutral by 2030, which is pretty progressive given we actually run this huge public transport network.
Yes.
And so, as I say, we're reviewing how we actually, have a committee structure at the moment. He's mentioned in his speech, I called it speech from the throne yesterday, about a climate change committee. So where that would sit, in amongst the mix, what it replaces or what it sits under, or subcommittees or Uber committees or whatever, that's just all part of the discussions over the next 2 weeks. What I do like about Darren's personal approach is he's a very inclusive person, and he will be making sure that his ideas are actually, what's everybody else's views about this, and that's for us experienced ones and the ones who have just come on board and the freshness, the fresh lens that they bring to it. And we had our inauguration yesterday, and a really good group of people, lots of diversity there, and diversity of age. I'm in the middle ground these days. It's quite shocking. I'm not the young thing anymore. We've got some youngies that have come on board, and good on them.
Great stuff. The other side of that particular coin is you've lost a lot of experience, haven't you?
Yes, but we've at the 13, there are 6 new ones. That means there are 7 that are very experienced councillors.
Right.
I've had 1 term on regional council, but of course I had 2 terms before that as a councillor at KCBC. Same with Darren, and we've got Prue Lammis in there, Ken Laban, all very, very experienced people, and Adrian, who's the deputy chair now. She's had 15 years in local government.
Great. So are you excited about the next 3 years?
Yes, I am actually. You could have just, this is the third time we all met yesterday, and we're all starting to click already. Because it doesn't mean you click in terms of you think the same way, but that you can click to go, I can have a different view from you, but actually have a really constructive discussion with my different views.
Absolutely.
That's what's important.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was talking to Bernie Wanden before, and I said the great thing about democracy in this country is we can still disagree with decency, and I think that's a secret, isn't it?
Yeah, and I found that last term around that regional council table, that is how the people at regional council operate.
Yep.
And so I have a very strong sense that this crew will operate like that again.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us, Penny Gaylor. All the best to you.
Thank you.
106.3 Beach FM.